Hello and welcome. And now let me tell you a story. Now, a story is an illusion. There is no story because the story demands a individual identity or entity which lives through time and space in a very linear fashion, be it very solid and static or be it very subtle, like a thought or a feeling or intellect or mind or soul or whatever. Now, there, that is simply an illusion. That is simply the dual dream that there is an identity or an entity which lives through time and space, and happenings happen to that, or it performs to bring about those happenings. That's an illusion, very much similar to the example of the rope and the snake. Now, the rope appears as the snake in the dark, but it does not become the snake. So there is no story. So, how many ever perspectives there could be to an apparent happening, it's all the dual dream. And there is no one living that. There is no one experiencing this life. There is no identity. That is the dream. So the rope does not become the snake. It appears as the snake. So story appears, but there's no story. It appears to one that deems that there is an entity. But I won't say to the one that deems, because there's nobody that deems. It's the formlessness alone that appears as the illusion of there being an entity or an identity, and deems that it has a story. However, let me tell you an illusory story. Now, when I was doing my master's in comparative religious studies from a local college, now during that time, I got an opportunity to learn the scriptures or to read the scriptures, you could say. And when I read the scriptures from all religions, not all the scriptures, but some of the scriptures from most of the religions, some of the songs, I would say, of oneness or of unconditional love just stood out. It was like, wow. They were like, I like to call them the golden nuggets. They spoke of this isness, they spoke of this formlessness forming and appearing as everything, or nothingness, or emptiness, singing as this form, or this nothingness dancing as everything. And it was very enamoring. It was like, wow. And however, those very scriptures also had a teaching, a dual teaching, a message to give, as if there was those scriptures also had other songs which had, like, as if they were speaking to someone, as if they were teaching, as if they were guiding and teaching as to how to reach this formlessness, how to find this formlessness, how to lose the illusion of self, how to be illuminated, how to go from dark to light. So that was pretty confusing. Now I thought, in one way, this speaks of that isness, this ineffable song of boundlessness, of this unconditional love. It speaks of the bride and the beloved. And then again, it speaks of someone becoming that. So I asked my teachers, and of course, there were different types of teachers. Some of them told me, you don't question, you just accept, just surrender, no questions. And some of the teachers apparently told me that, these all teachings or this message or this dualism that has been included, apparently they are interpolations, or the message that has been confined in a theory, in a philosophy, in a teaching, uh, because that there was dualism there to which tried to understand this message, this song of oneness. So they were later interpolations, because it was the song that was just sung by nothingness. Anyway, one of the teachers told me that I should go to Tony Parsons. And when I met Tony Parsons for the first time, it was like, wow. It was not like, um, it was, he said, there's no one. And it seemed that time as if the whole spiritual baggage had been lifted. I remember going to Tony and just giving him a nice hug and saying, I don't understand a word that you say, but it rings a bell. It resonates with, with something. And it was not Tony as a person. It was not that, it was that energetic, mm, that was so, that it was so like revealing. It was like it was lifted the weight, the spiritual baggage, because it was not that someone was, it was so evident that someone was not lost in the illusion. Nobody was performing the illusion. Nobody was lost in the illusion, nor was there someone who could get something. But then, of course, what apparently followed was this dance, dark dance of being, and almost like an, it just went on and on with no one doing that. But it was this, and it was so evident and so obvious, I would say, that there is no one to wait to get this illumination. There is no one to perform. There is no one to lose the self. And non duality is not a teaching, it's not a state. Non duality is not something that can be got. And nowadays, apparently, when it is turned into a teaching or a message, it almost becomes like there, no me is a state, and uh, me is a state which has to be rid of. And somehow, this me can be rid of by listening to this song, or by uh, just being in the. That's all the dual dream. There, no me or me is not a state. The me is an illusion, like the rope and the snake. The rope does not become the snake. So, no me does not become a me and does not have to lose itself. That's a teaching, that's a message, that's the dual dream. Nobody can get this, nobody can lose this, it cannot be achieved. Non duality is not a state, or there is no process, so neither waiting for it nor just waiting for the formlessness to be. There is no god or formlessness or nothingness performing this illusion, doing this illusion. It's simply an appearance. And this song of unconditional freedom, which is very alive, which is very new, which is this silence sounding. It's not, I can't explain this. It's not that there is silence which is broken by this sound or this syllable. It's silence appearing as the syllable, appearing as the sound, a volcanic silence, an oceanic silence. A silence which is, and it's sounding, it's nothingness dancing as everything. It is emptiness singing as this and appearing as each and every form. It's this ineffable isness which appears as everything. And the wonder of this cannot be spoken of. This ineffable isness is this appearing as this. Nothing beyond it. It's the ineffable isness. Thank you.